Welcome to Citi Field for tonight's game against the Washington Nationals and a very special pre-game number retirement ceremony. We direct your attention to the field and welcome our Master of Ceremonies, a member of the Mets Hall of Fame Committee and the voice of the Mets on WCBS 880, Howie Rose.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And welcome to a celebration. And this is a real celebration. There's no other way to put it. The highest honor that a club can possibly bestow upon one of its players is to ensure that no one will ever wear his uniform number again. And so tonight, the New York Mets pay tribute to the winningest left-handed pitcher in franchise history as we retire the number 36, worn for 12 years with pride and distinction by Jerry Koosman. Now, recently, Jerry said that he thinks we're making more of this than he deserves. Nonsense. Jerry deserves every bit of this adulation. He wasn't just a fabulous pitcher. He was the consummate teammate, the guy you wanted to be in the foxhole with. He had their backs. If an opposing pitcher tried to take liberties with a Mets player, Jerry made him pay. If there was an important game that the Mets needed to win, just the sight of Jerry on the mound raised your spirits as well as the likelihood that the Mets would be victorious. It's safe to say that in 60 years, the Mets have never had a better money pitcher than Jerry Koosman. And he has the ring to prove it. Let's begin by welcoming members of Jerry's family and fellow World Championship teammates who are joining us on the field. Please give a warm Citi Field welcome to Jerry's children, Danielle and her husband, Johnny, Sean and his wife, Kimberly, and Michael and his wife, Christine, and his grandchildren, Colton, Dalton, Riley, and Caitlin. Let's welcome back Jerry's teammates and a very special Mets alum. This outfielder ranked second on the 1969 Mets in batting average and home runs, leading the team on their miracle run. Please welcome number 24, Art Shamsky. This 1969 world champion hit .385 in the National League Championship Series with a two-run homer in the series-clinching third game. Please welcome number 11, Wayne Garrett. An original Met and New York native, this 1969 world champion is the club's career leader in games played. Please welcome Mets Hall of Famer, Eddie Kranepool. Finally, he invigorated the franchise, helping the Mets win a total of 3 playoff series between 1999 and 2000. The most recent Met to have his number retired, Baseball Hall of Famer Mike Piazza. And now, for our special guest of the night. He earned 2 victories in the 1969 World Series, including his complete game performance in Game 5, which clinched the Mets' first World Championship, ending that miraculous season with unrelenting joy right here in Queens. Please direct your attention to City Vision as we relive those joyful feelings.
All right, I'm gonna hand you a photo. Gary, let me know what you think when you see that photo.
All of our lives changed that day, October 16th, 1969. So for me, great memories, wonderful time being part of that team. And so we're talking about that team 50-something years later, 52 years later. Just a great memory for me, but a very, very special time.
The 11-year-old in me experiencing the same joy that those two are clearly in the midst of.
I don't think that there's been a day in my life that's gone by since October 16th, 1969, where this image didn't either come to me the way it has now, in a tangible way, or just as I visualized it. It is frankly the iconic sports image of my youth, and one that endures to this day and will forevermore.
Well, look at this photo. No more lovable losers. It's really a culmination of guys never living up on a dream, being legitimate, being, the kings of baseball.
These guys had something inside of them that was special, and Koosman was the epitome of that.
Of course, we had Jerry pitching that day, and he was such a great money pitcher.
He had established his persona by Game 5. We knew how tough he was.
Guys loved playing behind Koosman. They felt, he had their back.
He was not going to be denied. He said it to the guys in the dugout after he gave up the 2 home runs early. They are not getting any more. Let's go.
Jerry Koosman, since he gave up 3 runs in the 3rd, has shut out the Orioles. There's a fly ball hit out to left, waiting is Jones. The Mets are the world champions.
And when I think of Jerry Koosman, I think of a dream weaver, a guy who made the dream a reality.
And now, please give a big City Field welcome to number 36, Jerry Koosman. We're about to witness a very, very special moment. An honor bestowed on a select few. That plane will make you feel right at home, right, Jerry? But this honor, as you know, has been bestowed on a select few throughout the history of the New York Mets. Consider for a moment the only men to have been similarly honored in the 60-year history of our team. Number 37, Casey Stengel, the Mets' first manager and simply the father of this franchise. Number 14, Gil Hodges, a New York baseball legend, one of the original 1962 Mets, and of course, the beloved manager of the 1969 World Champions. Number 41, Tom Seaver, the franchise, the Mets' all-time leader in wins, strikeouts, innings pitched, and quite simply, one of the greatest pitchers to ever step onto a major league mound with 311 career victories and 3 Cy Young Awards. Number 31, Mike Piazza. Here with us tonight, a baseball Hall of Famer and the greatest hitting catcher of all time. Number 42, retired across Major League Baseball in honor of Jackie Robinson, the trailblazing American hero and civil rights pioneer who broke baseball's color barrier. And 2 more iconic Mets memorialized alongside the retired numbers. Bill Shea, who helped to establish this team and bring National League Baseball back to New York. And Ralph Kiner, an original Mets broadcaster who spent an incredible 53 years on the air and remains in our hearts forever. This is the pantheon of New York baseball elites that Jerry Koosman joins this evening. Please direct your attention once more to the City Vision Board as we look back on some of the memorable moments from Jerry Koosman's legendary Mets career.
Miracles don't occur without greatness, heroism, and fate. Sometimes they begin on farms in rural Minnesota, where a kid grew up with dreams of winning the World Series. The story of Jerry Koosman's legendary Mets career begins with a tale of fate, discovered by the club while he was pitching for an Army team at Fort Bliss.
Well, there it is, Big Shea.
As the story goes, Koos was almost cut by the Mets before reaching the bigs. But as fate would have it, this story was destined for a miraculous ride through the Canyon of Heroes.
Jerry, tell me first about that double that you ripped out there earlier.
Yes, sir, you can do it all, Lacey, you can do it all.
Jerry Koosman wore the orange and blue for 12 seasons and would become the greatest left-handed pitcher in franchise history.
I feared losing. There's so much pressure on you that you can't lose. I loved it.
In '68, he posted one of the best rookie seasons by a Mets pitcher. He was a 2-time All-Star, striking out Carl Yastrzemski and earning a save in the 1968 Midsummer Classic. Koosman would dominate again in '69 as the Mets went on a miracle run. His numerous accolades are forever etched in the Mets record books, including a career-high 21 wins in 1976, the most by a left-handed pitcher in club history.
And winning 20 games this year was probably like how a whole team felt when we won the World Series in 1969.
But what made Jerry Koosman a Mets icon was his appetite for taking the ball in the biggest of games. Koosman was a perfect 4-0 in 6 postseason starts as a Met. And to this day, those 4 postseason victories are the most by any pitcher in the history of the team. He was part of the 1973 amazing Mets run to the World Series.
A fight breaks out. Pete Rose and Buddy Harrelson. Jerry Koosman's in the middle of the fight.
Coos never backed down from a challenge, throwing a complete game in Game 3 in the National League Championship Series against the Reds. And no victories loomed larger than the two he earned in the 1969 World Series, in a year where the country saw a man land on the moon.
Indeed, they got the flag up.
The world also saw the 100-1 underdog Miracle Mets go from lovable losers to world champions. And Jerry Koosman was at the forefront. He won Game 2 in that '69 Fall Classic, helping the Mets even the series against the mighty Baltimore Orioles.
But you've won the first World Series game ever for the New York Mets.
Well, it's a real privilege. It sure is. And I don't know. I think we got a lot more to win.
Then, on the afternoon of October 16th, that Minnesota kid who once dreamed of winning the World Series many years earlier threw a complete game.
Get 2 outs, and Davy Johnson hits that fly ball to left field. And that was the last thing I said, Cleon, don't drop the ball, squeeze it.
Helping the Mets win their first World Championship.
Jerry Koosman being mobbed. Look at this scene.
Number 36. A number that will forever be associated with greatness, fate, and miracles. Jerome Martin Koosman. Forever a Mets legend.
Thank you. And now, here to pass the torch, please welcome to the podium the most recent man to be enshrined into Cooperstown as a member of the Mets, and the last man to have his number retired by the New York Mets, Mike Piazza.
Yeah. Thank you, Howie. It's my extreme honor to be here this evening. Jerry, welcome home. This is your home, and this is your family. You've inspired a generation of Mets fans and generations after that. And to have your number in the rafters of this stadium, you inspire the players of the past, the present, and the future. And you brought honor to our family, and now our family honors you. So with that said, draw your attention up to the top of the stadium. Come on up and say a few words. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very nice. God bless.
Thank you. What?
He's going to read something else.
Oh, sure.
Now, Jerry signed with the Mets in 1964 after being scouted while he was pitching in the Army. He became the winningest left-handed pitcher in team history, and tonight has received one of the most cherished honors in all of sports. So, Jerry, my advice is take a deep breath, soak up the special memory that you're creating with your family, teammates, and these fans. Just take one more peek up at the left field stands there and cherish that number 36, which will stand here in perpetuity. Congratulations, Jerry. Citi Field is yours.
Thanks, Howie. Nice job, like always. Thanks, buddy.
Now, how great is that to be introduced by Mike Piazza. Mike was born
In September of 1968, probably on a day I was pitching right here, a Hall of Famer that made everyone around him try to achieve greatness. Here's to you, Mike. I'm honored to have my number next to yours. Well, hello, everyone. It's nice to be back in this beautiful ballpark with all you amazing fans. I always remember the many years I had the privilege to play in New York and the wonderful people I met and the friends along the way. The 1969 World Series, the ticker tape parade in Manhattan, the night the lights went out in New York, the fun times at the games at Shea Stadium really stand out. I'd like to introduce my family to you, starting with Michael. Michael, would you stand? He was the first Mets baby born in 1967. His wife, Christine, their sons, Colton and Dalton. Thank you. Sean and his wife, Kimberly, son, Riley, and daughter, Caitlin. My daughter, Danielle, and her husband, Johnny. Thanks, guys. And, of course, my second family, Ed Cranepool, Wayne Garrett, and Art Shamsky. These guys are very special and class individuals and like brothers to me. We're so glad, or I'm sorry, we are so sad that so many are no longer with us or aren't here in person, but we'll always remember them in our hearts and for their contributions. We truly miss our great manager, Gil Hodges, coaches Joe Pignatano, Eddie Yost, Yogi, Rube Walker, and all the people that made this organization great. I'd like to thank the New York Met organization for this recognition, and especially the owner, Steve Cohen. He has promised to bring winning teams to this division and a first-class organization for years to come. One of the greatest moments of my career was throwing that final pitch in the '69 World Series. In the bullpen, prior to the start of the last game, Pearl Bailey was there, getting ready to march out and sing the national anthem. She told me not to worry, we would win, and she saw the number 8, but only knew we would win. Even though we were losing 3-0 at one point, we never gave up, and our hitters came through to score 5 runs. We were no longer the lovable losers. We were now the world champs. I'm sincerely humbled by all the Met fans that came out today and those that supported us throughout the years. There was always electricity in the air, and when you had to sell out in big crowds like we had during those winning seasons, it gives you an adrenaline rush. It's like having an extra player on the field. Those Mets fans will always hold a special place in my heart. I'm deeply touched by all of you that came out today in recognition of my number 36 getting retired. I wish I could still fit in my uniform and start over again. Thank you all for your support and for checking in. Let's go Mets! I'll give it back to you, Howard. Thank you. I'll go this way.
Congratulations, Jerry. And let's give one more hand for our 2021 honoree, number 36, up there forever, Jerry Koosman. Thank you.